Chapter 11 of Dragon Masters. It's called A Noise in the Night. Good job cleaning Worm's scales, Drake, Griffith said, walking into the cave. Drake wasn't going to say anything about what Worm had shown him, not yet, but he did have a question for Griffith. How did the dragons get here? He asked. The king's soldiers searched far and wide, Griffith replied. It's not easy to find a dragon. Most people have never seen one, but the king did not give up. His soldiers were able to capture these 4. But did the dragons want to come here? Drake asked. The king does not always think about what dragons want, Griffith said darkly. Now come, it's time for supper. After they ate, Bo and Drake went to their room. Bo was teaching him how to write the alphabet. Bo drew a capital D and a lowercase d. See, Bo said, the big D looks like a dragon with a big belly. He drew a picture on the paper. Like Vulcan, Drake said with a laugh. Bo laughed too. Moonlight glinted off of Bo's dragon stone. It reminded Drake of something he'd wanted to ask Bo about. Does your stone ever glow? Drake asked. Bo shook his head. No, he said. Why do you ask? It's just, I thought I saw mine glow once, Drake said, when I was with Worm. That's interesting, Bo said. You should tell Griffith. Drake nodded. Tomorrow, he said. Drake wrote rows of the letter D before he went to sleep. He thought he would dream of D's or maybe of Worm again, but just after he climbed into bed, thump, Drake heard a loud noise. He sat up and saw 2 figures standing by Bo's bed. Who do you think those 2 figures are? Chapter 12, A Sneaky Plan. I think those must be the 2 figures. The 2 figures turned around. It was Rory and Anna. What do you want? Drake asked. Go back to sleep, Rory snapped. Why should I? He snapped back. Drake was tired of Rory being so bossy. Yeah, why should he? Bo said. And why are you 2 here? Bo said. Anna spoke up. We are going to bring our dragons outside while the rest of the castle is asleep. Do you guys want to come? You can bring Worm and Shoe. That is a bad idea, Bo said. No, it's not, Rory said. We are dragon masters. We should be able to take our dragons out whenever we want to. What do you think? Do you think they should be able to take their dragons whenever they want? Oops. You have a point, Drake agreed, and I do think Worm would like to go outside again. Bo looked worried. What if Griffith finds out, he asks. What if the king finds out? They won't find out, Rory said, so long as neither of you say anything. She looked them both in the eyes. Well, come on then, said Anna. Drake slipped on his shoes. He followed the others down the hall. The door to Griffith's room was open. He was snoring loudly. Zzz. Rory put a finger up to her lips. Shh. As they tiptoed past the door, Drake peeked inside. The wizard's long beard flew up every time he snored. The Dragon Masters walked down the stairs. The guard in front of the training room door was asleep too. That's Simon, Rory whispered. He always falls asleep. They tiptoed past Simon and into the training room. The torches were not lit, so the room was black. Rory lit a candle. Then she passed candles to each of them. Now let's get the dragons, she said, still whispering. They reached Vulcan's cave first. Rory opened the gate. Wake up, Vulcan, she said. We're going outside. Grumbling, Vulcan got to his feet. Anna and Bo woke up their dragons. Drake went to Worm's cage. Worm, do you want to go outside? Drake asked. Worm lifted his head. His eyes shot wide open. They stared right at Drake, and Drake got a strange feeling. Come on, Worm, Drake said, but Worm didn't move. He just stared at Drake. Is he trying to tell me something? Drake wondered. Rory, Anna, and Bo walked up to Worm's cave with their dragons. Is Worm coming? Rory asked. Suddenly, Drake froze. He heard words inside of his own head. Do not go into the tunnel. I wonder who those words were from and what they mean. That's where we're going to stop.